What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today we're going to take a look at something that I've kind of suspected would start to likely happen, but I didn't know necessarily how quickly we would start seeing it manifest. My coverage of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has been really critical. There's no doubt about that. I want to look at this game through a lens where we can kind of pick apart what it is that we might be getting. I do this with a lot of video games that I'm interested in because of two reasons. One, I'm interested in covering the game, so I want to know, I want to share my knowledge. And two, the inevitable honeymoon phase being over and gamers basically not necessarily educating themselves about the project, getting disappointed and taking it out on somebody, most especially the YouTubers or content creators. I saw this with Gotham Knights. A lot of people turned around and called me shill. You were promoting Gotham Knights, when in reality, the same thing that I'm doing with Suicide Squad is the exact same thing I did with Gotham Knights, even to a much more crucial level because we had more time to make more videos. Suicide Squad, we've had other games in the mix of things, and it's not necessarily been that easy. Another thing, too, that I want to talk about is the way I actually pose my videos. I always point every single pain point I can find, and sometimes that kind of gets people to maybe sometimes come after me or call me some interesting names like fanboy of Spider-Man. Fanboy. Can you imagine that? And so I thought it was interesting that we bring this up in conversation. So one of my audience members, I don't know how long they've been watching videos on the Video Game Fight School channel, basically, commented on one of my videos where I talked about how the Battle Pass was something that really did throw off some friends of mine who are not necessarily following all the news for Suicide Squad. But in reality, when I showed them the picture of that Battle Pass, they kind of had a very weird reaction to it. And a lot of people who are in the space probably will have that reaction too. Now, this person replied on that video, and I, hid their name for reasons. And they said, man, whatever you think, this game, this is referring to Suicide Squad, is going to be different than others. Even cutscenes quality is top notch. Those facial animations, especially Captain Boomerang, deserve some reward. Don't care about the Battle Pass and other online. And it says, this person writes and says, Red Dead Redemption Online also has Battle Pass, but it does not make this game bad. It doesn't make the game bad. It's still Rockstar's game and their quality, and the same goes for Rocksteady. It doesn't change. Now, I have a few things that I need to go ahead and highlight here because this is one thing about fandom. Fandom usually likes to ignore a lot of things that they would probably not accept for other games, but then when it comes to a game that they like the developer, they somehow, for the most part, want to go ahead and just switch things out. Now, I'm the kind of person whom I'm a Rocksteady fan, big Rocksteady fan, but at the same time, my brand loyalty is fickle. If you're not going to go the direction that suits me as a, fan, then we have no business. So right now, I'm still a Rocksteady fan, but I maintain as much as I can my objectiveness. So this person that says the game is going to be different from others, number one, you haven't played the game. They also said the cutscenes being quality is top notch. It's not anything that we haven't seen before. We've seen it in Spider-Man in 2018. We've seen it in Miles Morales in 2020. We've seen it in other video games where the cutscenes are very good and photorealistic. You can fire up Spider-Man Miles Morales on the PlayStation 5 or the 2018 remastered game, and you're going to see cutscenes that have that quality. You play it on PC, where you can get it to high frame rates, use DLSS, ray tracing, and all that. I have videos on the channel where we've actually shown these things, and it's pretty cool. Facial expressions, especially Captain Boomerang, yes, I agree that the facial expressions deserve some kind of an award, but again, it's not really anything that we've not necessarily seen. You've played God of War 2018, Ragnarok, and Brock and Sindri really do give you a vibe of that nature. So there really isn't anything that's being done here. But here's the funny thing that really kind of got me, in a sense, kind of laughing. This person said they don't care about the Battle Pass because Red Dead Redemption has a Battle Pass, but it doesn't make the game bad. Well, Red Dead Redemption's Battle Pass is actually set up in their online mode called Red Dead Online, separate from the game itself. This is one of the points that I actually did mention a lot when we were talking about Gotham Knights, because Gotham Knights did not separate its online modes like, say, everything was going to be heroic assault based, or if you wanted to play with a friend, they had another online mode for you. They put everything in the same video game, which makes it unique, and it's not like every other game out there. It's a game that, basically runs and, does a lot of processes on your machine, whereas a game like Red Dead is able to focus on its single player aspect and then make its online mode separately. If Gotham Knights had done that, we would have probably had a 60 FPS mode on the consoles. But because of the design choice, you have a game where if you try to run the online on the open world, you will get frame drops on all platforms. In fact, you do get frame drops on all platforms when you even do the online mode. But yes, I can agree that it doesn't make Red Dead bad, but if you look at the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League picture, I can't show it because of copyright issues, right? If you look at it, you're going to see that that battle pass is not looking like it's in a different online mode. The game has an integration of matchmaking and all of that that's actually put together, more like a game like The Division or Destiny in a sense. So the game is designed from its core to be a live service game. That's all I'm basically just trying to say. So I said, well, Rocksteady, and this is my response, I'm sure you've already seen this. I said, Rocksteady is not unique anymore. They'll be dethroned by Insomniac soon. I made a video where I talked about this because the superhero genre, in terms of people who love these games, like the single player version of the games. They're not really fans of live service games. Why? Because Avengers pretty much had everybody unnerved. Gotham Knights, almost being a live service game and wasn't, basically made people go mad because they said, oh, the game looks like it had elements of being a live service game, but it wasn't a live service game. So there seems to be an adverse reaction of some sort when you say Gotham Knights. And I said Rockstar can hold it down because no one in their genre is serious. Open world genre, no one is really doing it like Rockstar. And I said, I mean, who's going to challenge compete against Rockstar? Ubisoft? And I laughed. And this person replied and said, Insomniac can't do half of anything that Rocksteady does. Sorry, but BS comment. Seems like you're a fanboy or something. That's why you're maybe making provocation videos about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I consider this and I conclude that this person is a blind fan. Somebody that cannot see objectively what it is that we're trying to point out. And sorry, I don't have Suicide Squad footage on this computer. The other one that I actually record a lot of my videos on for this is actually being rebuilt. I'm resetting it. And so that's why you're seeing Injustice footage. But if you want, I mean, I can give you some of my favorite new Batman game footage. I mean, I'm sure many of you won't mind some Gotham Knights. And I think this is where we're going to have a serious issue after this game comes out. You see, a lot of these folk have not necessarily engaged in a live service game in a superhero, setting. Gotham Knights was probably something that felt maybe the closest, and a lot of people did not even dig it. They thought, man, this has got to be the worst thing ever because it just seemed this, it just seemed that. But I think when you wrap up a live service game in shiny, it can really make people start to consider that maybe this is actually a good thing for them. But what I've seen after covering a live service game for about 4 years is the constant whining that you're going to get from people who are not going to be satisfied because the game has a dynamic set of changes that really can make people who don't have the tenacity or the interest or the passion of the game be in a place where they complain. And even people who are passionate sometimes find it hard to follow a live service game. Here's my Tom Clancy's The Division 2 character. I have multiple accounts. I have a separate channel dedicated to this game, its first game in 2016 and the second game in 2019. I've read thousands of comments. I've seen gamers switch up like crazy because something did not go their way in a live service game that they liked. So this is why many people are somewhat wary of the live service games. And this is why I'm making these videos talking about how with Suicide Squad coming in this state, there might be these issues if people are not cautious as to how they're approaching the game and their excitement. I also got into a conversation with somebody who said, they just want to be excited about the game. And I said, I can respect that. There's nothing wrong in being excited about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. In fact, I strongly think if you want to get into the project and be excited, then be sure that you are able to hear all the arguments that try to tell you that, hey, if you want to be excited, be cautious so that your excitement is not pretty much clouded by blind, optimism that doesn't consider the issues, so that if anything were to go down and you feel a little bit of disappointment, you're at least already aware on the forefront. This is usually the work that I do here because at the end of the day, it's good and it's healthy so that you don't put false expectations on the developers and then you're on Twitter making a fool out of yourself. I see a lot of people doing it with Gotham Knights. They're all on Twitter. They won't let the game, they want the game to die, but they won't let it die. You know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, Gotham Knights needs to be this. But then they're all over the Video Game Fight School channel. They're on Twitter on the Gotham Knights page. and they're constantly whining and crying because the game was not Arkham or something like that. When in reality, if you really want to whine about a game not being an Arkham game, go to Rocksteady's page and whine about Suicide Squad being a shooter. In fact, when you even talk about the shooter side of things, some people say, well, I think somebody was saying the other day, we're having a conversation, and they said, Gotham Knights is more like Suicide Squad in a sense because, it's an RPG. Suicide Squad is going to be an RPG. And I was like, no, Suicide Squad is not going to be an RPG because even the developers, and I'm sure they probably saw this, and this is not a slide at them. They saw this from somebody who wrote an article. I made a video about one article where the guy said something about Suicide Squad being an RPG. But if you go to the Suicide Squad page on Steam, this is officially set up by Rocksteady and, based on their marketing and Warner Brothers. And the description says, jump into Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the genre-defined action-adventure third-person shooter in development from Rocksteady Studio, creators of the critically acclaimed Batman Arkham series. This title combines the studio's signature character-driven story gameplay with third-person shooter action to deliver a gaming experience unlike any other. So, it is coming in as a shooter, and it's saying it's an action-adventure shooter. Hence, I don't really know what the depth of the mechanics would look like. But if you were to maybe look at Tom Clancy's The Division 2, which recently dropped on Steam, and look at its own description, it's going to be something different in a sense. Now, they don't necessarily talk too much about the way the game is, but those of you who get to play it, it's an RPG, but they also mention it here. They said The Division 2 is an online action RPG experience where exploration and player progression are essential. So Suicide Squad is not going that direction, not that we know of anyways. So this is pretty much what it is that I'm trying to, go ahead and iterate. So for the fans who are out there looking forward to Suicide Squad, I'm looking forward to Suicide Squad as well. I'm just looking forward to it with a big lens on my hand. That's it. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. It helps consumers to be better informed. It helps us in the community to be in a place where we have realistic expectations, and the game can flourish for those who enjoy it because they know going in, they spend their money the way that they want going into these, particular projects, and they can be happy with the product that they've bought, having known that they've been informed about all of the surrounding circumstances. This is my own, thought process regarding this, and just the kind of a counter argument, because I know somebody's probably going to bring this stuff up and then call me a Spider-Man fanboy. Yikes. Talk to y'all soon. Peace out.